Welcome back to Crypto Zeros. I am George. We're all George. So I am back in my studio. But today it's not looking so good. So welcome to another Market Open stream. We are here to talk about the global market collapse today. Yes, that's right. Asia and Europe absolutely collapsed. How will the US market do today? So let's take a look. And more importantly, can Bitcoin hold the line? Those of you guys that watch my Sunday walk video know that I shared a thing or two about my thoughts about everything that happened last week and this week. Let's see if it could come true. But let's get started. Let's do this. Welcome, guys. We are starting out the day right around 76.8. Not a place we want to be. We were hovering last week, even with the crash on Thursday and Friday, and going into the weekend, Bitcoin was holding right around 84,000 quite nicely until yesterday, Sunday. All of a sudden we started coming down, and then we almost hit that mark that I mentioned about a month ago, that 73.8, which I said if we were going to continue down, that's probably the point we would bounce off of. We were very, very, very close to that earlier today. We missed it slightly and bounced up a little bit. Okay, let's see if Bitcoin can hold and make some positive movement throughout the day, although it may be hard depending on how the US market is. Right now at open, Dow is opening at minus 1,200 and NASDAQ is at minus 600. This is 2 minutes after the bell. It's not going to be a good day. It's not going to be a good day at all. In case you're wondering, this global market collapse, yeah, it was horrible yesterday or today, depending on where you are in the world. Hong Kong fell 13%, Taiwan almost 10%, Japan 8%, Singapore 7%, China 7%, Italy about 7%, Switzerland 6%. Netherlands, Australia 6%, France 6%, Spain and Germany 5%, Switzerland 5%. The list goes on and on and on. Some of these markets haven't seen this kind of crash since 2008. Some 2020, but nevertheless, it was a horrible, horrible, horrible day for them. Okay, let's see. Jim Cramer predicted that today could be Black Monday 2.0. We are nowhere close to that. Okay, so Black Monday, in case you're wondering, most of us, including myself, was too young to remember it. But that was the worst day in Wall Street history when the Dow went down like 20-something%. And it was due to a lot of technical errors and stuff like that. We're nowhere close to that, okay? I don't think that's ever going to happen again. With all the fail-safes and circuit breakers that are in place now, I just don't even see how we could even come close to that. However, Jim Cramer was pretty panicked last week. We will see. We will see. Right now, actually, the U.S. market is holding. It was actually a lot worse in the pre-market. Was a pre-market, but we'll see how it goes. Of course, why is this happening? Unless you've been living under a rock, you know why this is happening. Because of all the tariffs, okay, and the retaliation and the confusion and everything else, right? That's why I went on a big explanation / rant / speculation explanation yesterday in my Sunday walk video. It was quite long. It was 30 minutes. So if you didn't watch it, I suggest you do so. Again, I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be partially right. Everyone's trying to figure it out. No one really knows the whole story. Only this guy does, and maybe Lutnick and Benson, they know what's going on. But it seems like what they want is good for America long term. But in order for that to happen, you're going to get short-term pain. You go get a lot of it, okay? This theory that Trump wants the stock market to go down, he says, no, I don't want that to happen. The White House has come out and says he doesn't want that to happen. But, to paraphrase, sometimes you have to take medicine. I don't know what that means. You have to take medicine to fix something. So basically, bottom line is, in order to make an omelet, you have to crack some eggs. Is essentially what he's getting at. Okay. So short-term pain, long-term gain. That's the hope. That's the hope that the plan in place is going to get us there. Now, the question is that short-term pain going to be too much to bear? Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan, who's no fan of Bitcoin. It's not like I want to quote him, but he is someone that's very smart and very intelligent and one of the leaders of one of the big banks that we have, thinks that tariffs will boost inflation and will slow down a already weakening U.S. economy, which is no good. So short-term pain is good if it's short-term. If short-term pain becomes a prolonged, dragged-out pain, that would be no good. Okay, that's not what we want. So that's the question right now, right? It's still early. We've only had these tariffs for a couple of, I don't know, 1 week, not even a couple weeks, 1 week. Everyone is still so confused. Markets are crashing left and right. People are still trying to digest what's going on. So, who knows? Maybe this will come to an end sooner than later, right? But it does seem like one of the agendas for Trump is to lower rates, right? He's calling for the Fed, for Fed Chair Powell to cut the Fed fund rate. And this is something already on the table. Powell already said 2 rate cuts this year. Now, a lot of people are thinking that he may be cutting more this year, maybe 3 times, 4 times. I don't know. I don't think so because inflation's going up. However, it may accelerate things. And certainly, it's looking that way. Last time I checked, last week, I showed you guys this. The projected percentage for a rate cut in May was only at 26%. Now it's at 42%. We're getting close to 50-50, guys. If the selling continues, if we keep getting more and more crashes, we will get that first rate cut in May. And that could be good. That's when things could turn around, when that quantitative easing actually starts. That's in 1 month's time. Now, of course, 30 days of red is very hard to get through. There's no mistake about it. Okay, so whatever's happening is working, and the other rate to look out is the 10-year yield, which unfortunately today actually went up, but as you can see, it has been dropping like a rock. On Friday, it was actually below 4%, which we haven't seen since last year, since November or October last year. And it could continue to go down lower. And I already shared why Trump administration wants the 10-year yield to go down as much as possible yesterday. So I won't go into that anymore. So bottom line is, all the crashes, all the uncertainty, everything that's leading up to today, I guess the side effect is not side effect. I guess the end goal, one of the end goals or the goals, is to bring down the rates, and it's working. It's working. But while that's happening, all of us are suffering. that's exactly what's happening. So short-term pain, long-term gains. Fingers crossed, that's what's going to happen, and that's the game plan. Now, as it relates to Bitcoin and crypto, obviously, we did not hold that 82,000. That was the mark that I really wanted to see Bitcoin hold, right? And we held it very, very well last week. Despite massive sell-offs on Thursday and Friday, we had $4 trillion lost from the U.S. markets on Thursday and Friday alone. $2 trillion lost with the Mag 7. Bitcoin held strong. It did what it can. Okay, but now obviously with so much global panic, there's just too many people selling. That's why we've come back down, right? It's obvious. However, not all is lost. There are still many that believe that Bitcoin can find a footing, find that line and hold it, and continue back up. I think most of us know that will happen. The question is, when will it happen, right? Even Standard Chartered, one of the biggest banks out of Europe, thinks that eventually Bitcoin will be seen as a hedge, not against even inflation, but against the tariffs and U.S. isolationism, right? It's just right now, there's just too much panic selling. You got too many people that are too freaked out. Even though they may believe this, it does not matter. They are selling because they're just so freaked out about everything else, right? But of course, we know there are people that are not freaked out. There are long-term holders that continue to hodl, like you and I. And there are many that are still accumulating. If there weren't, then Bitcoin would be at zero already. So obviously, there are many that are holding and many that are still buying. But right now, there's just too much fear going around. And that's why we're at where we are, right? And plus, we still have a lot of liquidations, a lot of manipulation. Yesterday, I saw on X, Cointelegraph pointed out that one person, one trader, lost $100 million on an ETH position. $106 million on an ETH long position. From one person. And in the last 24 hours, if it's not too cut off, you could see here, 1.43 billion liquidated. And again, we established this before. This number is actually lower than real time. Bybit CEO Ben Zhao has come out and said that CoinGlass does not get all the data. They only get partial data. So whatever this actually says is actually a lot less than what's actually out there, right? You could say it's 5 times or 10 times less than what's actually out there. So liquidations also have driven things downwards quite a lot. A lot of people still had longs open or placed some longs at 82,000 and thought we were coming back up, and they got liquidated once again, and that definitely didn't help things and brought things down. But again, all that is right now, is during this scary time. And it's not like this is just for Bitcoin or crypto, right? Obviously, if you're looking at stocks, this is why I'm covering it so much. Everything is being sold off. You look at Tesla, it's down. You look at MicroStrategy, it's down. You look at, I don't know, anything else, Coinbase, Robinhood, Nvidia, Apple, anything out there is down. Any company that has anything produced overseas is down, which is almost every company. Actually, Microsoft is doing well because they don't produce any products. It's all software, relatively speaking. But everything is down, right? There's just so much panic against everything. But Bitcoin, remember, has no tariff. There's no tariff against Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin is pure. Bitcoin is digital. There's no goods. It's not produced anywhere. There's no tariffs on Bitcoin and crypto. And Bitcoin continues, if you're looking at the fundamentals, continues to shine and rise. Hashrate reaches 1 zettahash milestone, an achievement it has never seen before, which means the network is only getting stronger and more secure. And that shows you the miners are not giving up. They may need, some of the smaller miners may need to sell off Bitcoin to pay for their operations. But in cumulative, there are more miners now than there has ever been. And they continue to add more and more miners because they know this is the best thing to mine. And because of it, it's the most secure and most decentralized network on the planet. And it may never be replicated again. And that in itself is priceless. And like I said, there are still many that are accumulating. Obviously, I cover stories about the usual guys like Michael Saylor, and Metaplanet, and some of the countries like El Salvador that continues to accumulate and so forth, right? But behind the scenes, we have a lot of whales that are still accumulating. Number of entities with over 1,000 Bitcoin, you can see that's huge spike from April on, just within the last 1 week. Look at that huge spike. So there's definitely large players coming in, taking advantage of the dip. And, that's going to continue happening. That's going to continue happening because they know this is the best asset to hold. And that hasn't changed. And when we get through all this, maybe with the the first cut that's coming in May, when we get through it and when we climb back up again, Bitcoin will shine. It will shine once again. We just had to get through this rough period, right? And we have seen many rough periods before for Bitcoin and crypto. Many rough periods before. Okay. Right now, relatively speaking, Bitcoin is holding way better than a lot of the alts. So that's for sure. So this shows you the importance of Bitcoin. I've been talking about Bitcoin for forever. I've been stressing the importance of having a good amount of Bitcoin in your portfolio, at least 50%, for that stability and strength. And right now, it's showing why. Because when we do have volatility, everything else crashes except Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that the alts won't come back. It just means that it's going to take a lot longer too, right? Some more time. But Bitcoin is definitely going to stay, and it's going to come back stronger, in my opinion. It's not going to go away. It's not going anywhere. I think that's pretty much it. I did see this. SEC rules dollar-backed stablecoins aren't securities, which is not a big deal, except David Sachs did clarify why this is a bigger deal than it seems is because the blockchains that mint or redeem the stablecoins are also now not securities, and they don't need to be registered under Securities Act. So I never even thought about that. So that is pretty important. So bottom line is, I think this is one of the things that Gary Gensler before would use against Chain, saying that, well, if you have a stable coin, which we think is a security, it automatically makes you a security. Now it gets rid of that. So that's pretty good. So that's it. Outside of that, let's see. The U.S. market is continuing to crash more. NASDAQ actually came back a little bit. Minus 500, still minus 600. Dow is going down more. MicroStrategy today, minus 11%, so that's not good. You look at someone like Apple, down about 5%. And then, let's see, Coinbase down about 7%. 52-week low today. That's no good. What else is there? Like Tesla. Tesla's down about 7% today. And yeah, that's it. But look at this. It just refreshes. What happened here? Oh boy. Look at that. Look at that huge spike. It's like 1,000-point spike right there. And my trading view just froze up. Or Coinbase's feed froze up. Yeah, or I think trading view is like having problems right now. What is going on here? Lazaro, that's not an urgent Fed meeting. A lot of people are trying to spread this FUD or spread hope that there's an urgent Fed meeting at 11:30 today. That was already a planned meeting, and they have one every single month. So that's not related. Of course, they're going to be talking about what's happening, but it wasn't because like they set one like out of the blue to talk about what's happening now. It was already set. But look at this. We just jumped up like 1,000 points right there. So that's looking pretty darn good. At least encouraging short term. All right, let's do some Q&A. Yeah, trading view is like completely down. It is not refreshing any of my things for me. Let's see. Yeah, now it's not loading at all. But it's still going up. NASDAQ. Look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ's making a big run. JEA, if you've been listening, you shouldn't be happy for the massive discount. If you did not, I feel for you. The squeeze is real. Don't get squeezed. Wait. If you have been listening, you shouldn't be happy for massive discount. If you did not, but okay. I don't quite understand it, but okay. There we go. Some of these things are starting to load. Coinbase server crash. Is that why? Let me try a different one. Binance. I don't. Man, this thing's just like not doing anything for me. There we go. I don't know. My trading view is not working. It's like frozen up on me. But good thing is everything is starting to come back up, which is encouraging. Obviously, we still have 78,000, which is not a level we want to be at, but it seemed like that early market bell dump that brought us to wherever it brought us to, 75,000, has stopped. Garrett, welcome. It looks like we've recovered a little bit, slightly. If you look at, if my trading view wasn't acting up so much, man, none of this stuff is still loading for me. Low IQ detector. If things turn around in May or June, does all this change when you think the top of the bull will be? I don't think anything really changes because, as you guys know, things move really, really quickly. Look at how fast things moved down in the last 2 months. We can recover just as quick in 2 months. So if quantitative easing hits in May or June, by August of this year, we could be well above 100,000 and continue on, right? So things can move very, very, very quickly. So I don't know. I don't think much changes. Maybe things get prolonged. Again, that goes with the super cycle theory that maybe we go a little more extended beyond this year. A lot of people don't think that's possible, but hey, with all the institutions holding Bitcoin, all the ETFs holding Bitcoin, unless they all dump at the same time, to get that 80% crash is very, very, very hard to fathom. We could have corrections like this, a 20-30% correction, and then we move past it and continue forward. I could definitely see that. But to see all of them panic sell and to see the same kind of 80% correction after this year, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing that. A lot of people are asking about Sailor. First of all, Bitcoin is still above Sailor's average price, which is like 68,000, I think, now, even with all his purchases. Second of all, even if it goes below, which I don't think will happen, but let's just say theorize it goes below. He has said all the convertible notes and bonds that he has sold, it doesn't force him to get liquidated. It doesn't force him to have to sell if it drops below a certain price for Bitcoin. So basically he's like, there's no worries. All he's promising the shareholders are those dividends, right? Or future yield from MicroStrategy. He's not promising them redemption of Bitcoin in any way. At least that's what he says, right? He's like, there's no way he could be liquidated. Bitcoin will go to zero and he won't be liquidated. So I think that's what a lot of people are fearing, that he can somehow get liquidated, and then all of the Bitcoin he holds and MicroStrategy holds somehow gets like massively dumped on the market. Just doesn't seem like that's possible. I don't know why my trading view just will not update. Come on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my trading view here. I'll just stick with this. Sailor's gonna be shopping at Aldi's with us soon. Man, ETH got really, really weak over the last 30 days. Down 29% in the last 30 days, down 15% in the last 7 days. People are just massively dumping ETH. XRP has done a little better. Solana has done slightly better, not a whole lot. Still kind of disappointed about that. I expected Solana to do better. BNB has done way better. BNB is actually holding quite solidly. And then outside of them, everyone else has been doing not so good. For Real Classic, I was visiting Seattle last week from Canada. I had a chance to pop into the dealership and check out the Cybertruck. I was impressed. I like it. I still like it. You know what? Funny thing enough, I was in Seattle too. I saw the hands. I was actually in a place right by the Space Needle. I saw that hands-on protest, and I saw reports about how there's that protest like around the country. Man, there are a lot of people that are very, very angry about Elon and Doge and Trump and everything. But man, in Seattle and in Vancouver, there are so many Teslas. Like especially in Vancouver. I was also in Vancouver. Every fourth car is a Tesla. And same thing in Seattle too. It's like nonstop Teslas everywhere. W Dog, a lot, a lot. On a 1 to 10 scale, it would be like a 9. And we're climbing back up. Look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq started the day at minus 600. Now it's at minus 173. There are a lot of people buying today. Yeah, look at all this. Apple, Tesla, Coinbase, MicroStrategy are all coming back. A lot of people buying. We may get back up to that 82,000 mark that I was talking about. If we could get back up there, you know how encouraging that would be to be able to get back up? Oh, now we're flying. Look at that, 79.7. You know, they say Inverse Kramer is never wrong. And he said that Monday could be Black Monday 2.0. So that could have saved us. Wow, Nasdaq went in green. But here's the thing. Okay, here's the reality. And I already said this last week. This week, there's no doubt there's probably going to be a few days of green because we're going to get some bounces. But unless there's like really good news, like, okay, for sure there's going to be a sudden, emergency rate cut, or there's some kind of big negotiation happening or something like that, this will probably continue. But man, today people are buying. People are buying, buying, buying. If today ends up being like a plus 1,000 day, that would be insane. But we have seen that before. If you guys watch my Sunday walk video, I referred what's happening now to 2008 because I remember that time very vividly, and it was not a fun time. It was like endless days of red, 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 red. Every day we had a minus 3,000 Dow day too back then, and Dow was much lower back then. But then we had periodic days where it's like plus 2,000 green. Like we have all these dead cat bounces. Oh, here's some breaking news. Maybe this is it. European Union says it's ready to discuss 0 tariffs with the U.S. I don't know. There's no source on this, so I don't know. Other countries have said the same thing. But if all the countries around the world, they all say, okay, we're going to drop the tariffs to 0, that would be a great start. That would be a great start. But then we still have to figure out how to balance the trade. So that would not be the end solution, but it would be a great start. But this is a good bump up. Grok says the EU thing is legit. Well, something pushed this up. Man, look at this. Dow is plus 400. Nasdaq's plus 400. That was a really sudden turnaround. Now everything's in the green. And we're climbing. If we could get back to that 82,000 mark, 82,000, 83,000, which is where we were like just, you know, a day ago. If we get back there, again, best case scenario. Best case scenario, we can hold out right around 83,000. Best case scenario. Everything's climbing. It's nice. Really nice. And then we have this come out. This will definitely explain it. You know? This will definitely do it. This is definitely what's causing things to come back up. You know, the funny thing is, we have seen this playbook before, right? With Mexico and Canada, we saw how there was an extension and then markets rallied, and then all of a sudden there's like no extension. The tariffs are going to be put in place and then market crash. I wonder if this is a similar situation. Like right now, like, okay, let's put a pause. We saw there's too much crashes going on. Let's put a pause. Let's do some negotiations. And then Trump is like, yeah, it's not good enough. We're going to enforce the tariffs again and then cause everything to crash. Hopefully it's not going to be like that, but it probably is. JEA, thank you. Oh, now they're not up that much anymore. They were up a lot, and then now it's about even again. All right, now we're losing that euphoria. Now things are turning into red again. Man, things are coming back down real fast. So something must not be that positive with this. Oh, we're coming down. What is the... Yeah. What the administration doesn't want to see is this go up. Benson already was very clear that one of the goals is to lower the 10-year treasury yield. So the worst thing is to see this go up. And this goes up when there's strength in markets. So that's not what Trump wants to see. Yeah, I wonder if this is like a fake story or something. Well, that certainly just liquidated a whole bunch of shorts. That's for sure. Let's see. Let's refresh. Yeah, last hour about 130 million shorts. Probably more than that just in the last hour. We're so back for 2 minutes and it's gone. Yep. Now it's starting to drop like a rock again. Man, that moved really quickly. We went from minus 1200, minus 1300 to positive 400, and now we're minus 400 again within a blink of an eye. This definitely reminds me of 2008. This is exactly how 2008 markets were. We flipped on a dime and oh, look at this. Trump advisors feud with each other over tariffs. Trump backer Bill Ackman says America's on the brink of an economic nuclear war. That means Bill Ackman is very long on things right now. I know Elon does not like Peter Navarro, who's the guy who actually gave Trump the idea of tariffs. So that might cause some tension right there. Tesla shares are down 20% since Lotnick's urged by Tesla. Well, this percentage went up even more. The one good thing is we may get that easing sooner than expected. There was almost no chance we were going to get a rate cut next month. It was like just a few weeks ago, it was at like 2-3%. Then it jumped to like 12-13%. Last week it was 20 something percent. Now it's at 43%. So this time next week, we could be in the 50s or 60s. So getting that cut sooner than later is definitely going to be good. So if we get one in May, the next one, you know, probably not June, probably like July or September, we're going to get the next one. And then depending on how bad the markets get, we could get maybe a third one by the end of the year, maybe October or December. I don't know. This is predicting we're going to get a lot more. So we're at 4.25. This is predicting by December we may be at 3.25. That is predicting we're getting 4 rate cuts. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. We're not getting 4 rate cuts. But now this is predicting by December we will have 1 full point cut off versus now. That would be almost every FOMC meeting from here on to December. Yeah, I just don't see that. But maybe the markets get bad enough, I guess. John Alley, I appreciate it. It is a roller coaster right now. It definitely is. All right, there's no way to slice it. Today was definitely a roller coaster, although it seems like it may be holding again. Minus 1,300 to positive 400, now to minus 500. Can we hold here or maybe go back up to green territory again? Seems like trading view is back to normal. If they pause the tariffs for 90 days, does that tank us more? No. If they pause the tariffs for 90 days, it would cause markets to rally big time. The problem is he really go pause for 90 days? I don't think so. I mean, with Mexico and Canada, Trump just paused for 30 days. It's more likely he'll say, like, we'll pause for 30 days for negotiation. Why would he pause it for 90 days? That's way too long for the negotiations. Unless the whole point is to cause a market recovery and then cause it to dump again. I don't think that's what he wants. He wants the rates to go down. If he does a 90-day pause, markets will rally back up. The chances of this happening goes down. 10-year goes down, goes back up. That's exactly the opposite of what he wants. That's not what he wants at all. So it wouldn't make sense for him to do that. He may do like a pause because markets are crashing so badly. He is under so much pressure. He has to do something. But then resume it, after 30 days or something. That's exactly what he did with Mexico and Canada. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Tonight will be interesting. Depending on how it goes tonight or during the day, I might stream tonight. But yeah, we had a very interesting morning. Obviously, global markets have not done so well, has collapsed. U.S. market was collapsing, recovered, now collapsing again, but it's nowhere near as bad as Black Monday 2.0 or Black Monday 1.0. But the point is, yeah, we're in this uncertainty, right? We're in this uncertain time. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of scariness, right? Of course, this is causing a lot of sell pressure on Bitcoin and crypto, but Bitcoin is down, but not out. There are still many that believe, many that hold, many that continue to DCA and accumulate. And I still believe that's the right course of action. Although, until all this gets resolved, we may not see a recovery. But that recovery may be sooner than expected, since this is now starting to come back up. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of the day goes and how the rest of the week goes. Today is just like so volatile. We may come back up again. We'll see. All right, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one, guys. Take care.